Good morning. Craig Howard here. Happy to be with you again this morning. Um, Teacher and author Paul Borthwick was telling about a visit. Good morning, Peanut. Was telling about a visit that he made to a friend in Beijing, China. And while he was there, he went to church uh, with this friend, and there were four young women there who were new converts. He listened to the sermon, and even though he couldn't understand the sermon, it was in Chinese, and he couldn't understand it, he thought this guy has to be really boring because he's kind of stooped over. He wasn't dynamic. He wasn't exciting. He wasn't. There wasn't much enthusiasm about his presentation, and yet everybody sat there and just listened to him very intently. So after the service, the pastor asked, or this guy asked these four ladies, said, "Is your pastor a good preacher?" And in response, they said, "Yes, he's a great preacher." Said he spent many years in prison suffering for Jesus. And it made him realize that it wasn't about his delivery. It was about the life example that he had made in his life that impressed his church members. It was that what was coming out of his mouth had been lived in his life, and his life was preaching the dynamic message that he wasn't able to deliver with his mouth. It made me think of others in Scripture who had said, "You know what? I'm no good. I can't speak," and yet God used them in mighty ways. In Exodus 4:10, it says, Moses said to the Lord, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and slow of tongue." Here's Moses, the one that God used to bring the children of Israel out of Egypt, the man who stood in front of Pharaoh and spoke to Pharaoh demanding that he release the children of Israel. Here's this incredible man of God that God used in such a mighty way, and for 40 years leading the children of Israel through the wilderness wanderings. And yet he's coming before God and says, "God, I don't speak very good. I'm not the person you want for this. I'm not eloquent." Still, God used him. What about the prophet Jeremiah? In Jeremiah 1:6, Jeremiah said, "Alas, sovereign Lord, I do not know how to speak. I am too young." I remember when I felt that way. When I started pastoring my church, I was 22 years old. And I thought, man, God, there's got to be somebody that can do a better job at this than I can. I'm too young. I don't know enough. People are coming to me for counsel, and what experience do I have to give them counsel? But I found out that it's not about the counsel that I can give them. I found out it's not about whether or not I get every sermon just perfect. It's about whether my life says what I say I believe. What does my life say to people? What does your life say to the people around you? When they look at the way you live, when they look at the attitude you project, when they look at the way you treat other people, when they look at the time that you spend in God's presence, when they look at the music that you listen to and the movies and TV shows that you watch, when they look at how committed you are to being in church on Sunday mornings and Sunday school and working in serving the Lord, when they look at those things, what do they see? What message does your life give? Not what words do you share, but what message does your life send? Because I promise you, the message coming from your life speaks much louder than the message coming from your mouth. Well, I hope you have a great day today. I've got a meeting I have to get to, and then I have to go pick a young man up that is homeless and try to get him in someplace. Um, You have a great day. Lord willing, I will see you tomorrow. Mom and Dad, if you're watching, I love you.